Hi everybody, my name is Richard Palfrey. Welcome to my channel Fitness Without a Filter. I have a podcast of the same name, and with this channel on YouTube I intend to put up as much content as I can possibly think of. Some things to do with fitness, some things to do with health, physical and mental, and everything in between. Now it's my goal with this channel, whether it's clips from my podcast or the content that I film, to put things out there that the ordinary person can learn from. It's not going to be just one professional, that is myself, talking to anybody else who's been in the profession, that knows what they're talking about, that knows the language, because that's a conversation I can have in my own time. My goal is to help people learn, to listen to someone asking questions perhaps that they otherwise wouldn't be able to ask themselves, and take something from that, because I'm all about, as I say with everybody, the real world. Do things that are relevant to everybody on the street, everybody that can listen or watch this, because I can talk professionals at any time, and a lot of people out there don't have the confidence or the access to a professional to ask them honest questions. So this is going to be my first question and answer session. Now, what is that going to be? Well, a while back I reached out to some friends and family and some past clients and said, if you could ask a fitness professional anything, just casually, that could help you out at some point in your fitness journey, what would it be? Okay, and I've got some answers here, and we're going to go through them today. Okay, we're going to go through a handful and put them out there, and hopefully it may help anybody that could just take something from that. Right, so question number one. I feel intimidated going to the gym and I'm not sure what to do about it. Okay, that's really not an uncommon apprehension to have. Okay, I've had clients come to me that have that same kind of concern, and they're really reluctant to take that first step through the gym door or to make a phone call or send an email. Yes, you can have a negative experience. I'm not naive enough to say that every business doesn't have that potential problem when it comes to dealing with their clients or their customers face to face. Sometimes you end up with an employee who's not that competent when it comes to dealing with their customers. However, in my genuine experience working all around the world, most gyms, most PT spaces are very, very welcoming, and they're full of friendly people. If they've got staff, which means unless it's just someone who comes and you click at the door for an app on your phone or something like that, they're there to service the customer and take money off you, etc. But they're also there to help the clients because they want repeat business. So if you are a little bit reluctant, you're a little bit unsure of what to do and how to go about certain exercises or whatever it might be, feel free to ask. If you don't want to do that in person on your first day, phone ahead. Send an email, DM them on their social media, let them know you're going to come in on this day. Is there any chance you could speak to someone about this equipment, what your goal might be? And even if you don't want to sign up for a personal trainer right away, or you don't want to sign up for a class, they generally will want to answer your questions, because it's, for them, it's positive feedback for their business, and it's going to help you feel comfortable there, so you're going to stay as a member. I've also really found that most gyms, regardless of what the clientele look like, whether they're big hulking guys or there's a real buzz charge of energy going about the place, they are kind and welcoming. The people there have all been newbies at one point or other. They want to help you. They want to make you feel welcome. So if you're really struggling and don't know what to do with yourself, and you can see someone having a break between sets or just having a pause for a moment, don't be afraid to go up to someone and go, hi, I'm really sorry to bother you. I don't want to butt in, but is there any chance you could just help me with this? Or how do I operate that machine? And I promise you, most people out there are going to lend a hand. It's a few seconds of their time. They were there once. They know how it feels. Please don't be put off. Don't set yourself back with your health and fitness goals just because you're a little bit shy or a little bit reluctant. All it takes is just a little bit of reaching out, and I guarantee you, you'll be straight in there. You'll be running away with it in no time at all. You'll feel really comfortable and really welcome. Okay, so next question then. Alrighty, let's look through this one here. Do I need to start high intensity training right from the off? I'm a little bit new to fitness. No, this is a big one that I do reinforce when I speak to anybody who's going to come either to work with myself or just asking a question in general. You absolutely do not need to dive into some extreme high intensive exercise from day one. For the very simple reason, if you have been some time away from regular exercise, or you've never had a program of activity and strength training or whatever it might be, anything you do is going to be high intensity in the short term, because you've not been doing it for a while or ever. So do not dive into some high tempo thrash session that was going to kill you and break you and leave you in pieces, because you know what? You're not going to enjoy it. You're not going to go back. You potentially run the risk of injury, but also it's going to be a series of negative experiences. Instead, my recommendation would be, if you're going about something by yourself, get used to regular exercise, at least in the short term. So you get used to the routine of, I go before work or college or whatever in the mornings, or I go afterwards, whenever it is you're going to go. And not only do you get used to the idea of the regular exercise, but you get used to the regular routine of recovery. All right. If you've not been used to doing specific strength exercises, anything dynamic, anything with an external load, you need to get used to the efforts required, the loads and the tempos that suit you, but also the recovery period. You might find for the first few sessions, it takes you some time to get over the aches and pains. Hey, that's not uncommon, but you should not be thrashing yourself within an inch of your life just because you think that's what you should do. Okay, so start off at a comfortable pace. So I would say high intensity until you're at least a little bit physically competent is a no-no. All right, you're just going to thrash yourself and make it unpleasant. You don't want to do that. Okay, so next one. I am 63 years old, so you know it's not coming from me. I am 63 years old, a retiree, and I like my social life with the other ladies at the golf club. I have a drink most evenings and indulge probably more than a bit on the weekends. I have taken up yoga to ease some aches and pains. I would like to lose some weight, but I am not going to give up alcohol at all. That's underlined, so she really does mean that. How can I do this? Okay, so so what you're asking is, how do I make some changes that I really think I want to do, but I don't want to make any changes in my personal routine? Well, you don't need to worry about weighing and measuring what you eat and drink. You can just be calorie aware, and that's where this is going to come back to, okay? You drink regularly and you don't want to totally take it out of your lifestyle. That's fair enough. I sympathize with that. I've had clients in the past with the same approach. So what you need to do is you need to remember that the alcohol that you drink, because let's face it, if you're drinking at home as well, you're not drinking the measures you get in a bar. You're going to be filling the glass probably most of the way up each time you fill it up. So you're going to drink a lot more than you expect. Now, alcohol is calories, regardless of what people most think. You can't just get away with, oh yeah, I drink, but it doesn't count. No, sorry, calories are calories. It all adds up. So what you need to think about is your total calorie intake. I don't mean weigh and measure. I don't mean get panicky about numbers, but be aware that the things that you drink also have a calorie content. Now, the easiest way for you to start to mitigate that is if you're having 2, 3, 4 drinks a night at home, apart from maybe having a problem, what I would suggest is you start to reduce the total amount that you're drinking. So if you're drinking 2 or 3 glasses of wine at night, just bring that down to maybe 1 an evening for most of the week, just to get used to that experience, and maybe also lower the total that you're drinking on the weekend, just to get used to that fact, see how it feels, so you don't make a drastic departure. Because if you're digging your heels in from day one saying, I don't want to stop doing this, and I tell you to stop doing this, guess what? You're not going to do it. So I would suggest that you bring down the casual evening drinking. I'm not saying you can totally get rid of it, bring it down significantly, and maybe indulge a bit on the weekend. That should be enough to start to see a significant difference over a period of time. What you may find, and I've had clients like this in the past, they are happy to bring down the evening drinking to a minimal and maybe even just totally pass it by some nights of the week, and then enjoy a few more casual drinks on the weekend and just relax into a change of routine. That's the easiest way to go about doing that, unless you're someone who just lives on facts and figures, because that's how your brain works, in which case, do a little bit of calculations, figure out how many calories you're drinking, and then take, say, 50% off that, and work from there and just adjust as you go. Okay. So the next one then, I am very overweight, and only a little bit of exercise and even a little bit of exercise leaves me breathing heavily, and walking any kind of distance causes my knees to ache over time. How do I get started? I'm worried about my health. I don't want this to continue, but just exercising can cause me physical pain. Okay, so I don't know your medical history. I don't know who you are. This was a friend of a friend who sent me this. What I would recommend is you maybe need to speak to your doctor to check you don't have any underlying issues as to why your knees may ache. All right. I don't want to give you any recommendation for exercise and think that it may hurt you. So I say check with your doctor to make sure you have no underlying issues. And then I would suggest that it's the repetition of impact from walking that's causing you pain through your knees. So what I would suggest is, if you've got the free range of movement, maybe get yourself to a gym environment and you think about working on a bike. Maybe not a rower, because that's a lot of repetitive dynamic motion, which you may not be inclined to enjoy and feel comfortable doing. I'd say get yourself on a bike and just get used to the movement over a period of time, because there's no impact there. I would avoid the treadmill, because that's a constant bouncing surface. That's going to reinforce the impact. I really wouldn't recommend that. One thing you might want to think about, if you've got the confidence to go to a swimming pool near you, would be to start going to the pool. This will make sense, I promise. And get used to, if you've got a pool that's not divided into lanes, or there's a quieter period where it's not, they don't have like the barriers up, and start walking widths of the pool at a depth you feel comfortable. Now, why do I say that? If you're in water, your body is supported by the mass of water around you, so you're not loading the joints in the same way. Now, there's a way for you to control the resistance when you do this and the support, like you would do on a machine. That is to say, what you can do is start off walking in the shallowest point of the pool. That will give you a degree of support. However, you're not going to take much weight off your joints. So the deeper you are in the water and the more supported, the easier it will be on your joints. All right. So that would be my recommendation to you. So speak to a doctor first, make sure there's no underlying issues as to why you're feeling that kind of discomfort and that pain on a regular basis, and make sure there's no swelling or issues that comes as a result of walking and all that kind of stuff. Secondly, non-impact if possible to get you used to regularly exercising. Think bike in a gym environment, and that removal from your home environment where you can relax and listen to music or whatever else might be a good thing for you to get used to a change in routine. And thirdly, like I said, think about water-based supported exercise. So get yourself to a pool when it's quiet, where you can feel a bit more relaxed and there's not so many things going on around you, and just start walking lengths. You can take a bottle of water in there with you because they're normally quite hot. There are sort of community swimming pools if they're indoors, and just start walking lengths. Okay, body supported in water, less impact on the knees, and go from there. And as you get stronger, a bit more confident, you can move into shallower water, take more of that load on, and then keep it up and keep it up and keep it up. All right. It may sound a little bit funny to you. It's the same kind of thing that professional athletes use when they've got lower body injuries. Start off on a water treadmill, your weight suspended, it's less impact, it gets you a chance to start powering through, but without that constant jarring effect. Okay, so best of luck with that one. I hope that helps. Okay, and moving on. All right, okay, here's one that could be a bit sensitive, but we can work with that. I have a very overweight teenage son. I'm working with him to address how he eats and what he thinks about exercise, but he hates sport and he hates the idea of being forced to do anything. However, and he does stipulate this, it says from his mum, he is aware this is an issue that has to be addressed. Okay, so how to approach this? Well done for already having the conversation with your son. I didn't say here how old he is, by the way, whether he's 12 or 13, or maybe he's the higher end of his teenage years, 17, 18, 19. But you've already had that conversation, and he's already aware that, yes, he does need to make some changes for his own health and longevity. However, he hates exercise, and he really wouldn't enjoy anything that he thinks he would have to do. So there's a few things to think about when you approach this. First off, is his negative approach and feeling towards exercise based on previous experience to this point? Has he been made to feel uncomfortable perhaps with exercise and sports at school because he feels like he stands out too much, he doesn't enjoy it, and all that kind of stuff? Or is he just a little bit, like a previous question, a little bit intimidated by the fitness environment? So there's a few ways that we could approach this. My first recommendation would be speak to him again about the idea of doing something as a family, where it may be a case of you start going for a walk, you start going to the beach. I don't know where you live. Maybe you start going to the beach and walking up and down the sand for a little bit. Just take a dog for a walk if you've got one and get him involved. If you've got family friends of a similar age or younger siblings or family members, maybe get him into an environment where he's playing with them so it feels less like prescribed exercise. You might find that I've had this with clients in the past, teenagers that are overweight, that it's the relationship to their health and fitness experience being linked to their family that is the problem. Because your son may find that with the best will in the world, you're a loving mother, but he feels like you're behind him, pushing him into this situation, that you need to do this, I'm worried, this is for your own best interest, I want you to address this. And he feels reluctant to get started. Maybe he feels a little bit bullied. Maybe he feels like if he doesn't do it as well as he perhaps could and doesn't achieve what you think he should, he's going to be letting you down. He feels bad about that. He feels bad about his own situation anyway, if he's aware he's overweight. So what I would suggest is, like I said, think about maybe doing something as a family that's not prescribed exercise. But then also, again, go from past personal experience with clients of mine, ask him what kind of thing he would like to do that's more active. What kind of sports or activities does he find appealing, or would he like to do that maybe he doesn't have the confidence to do? And look around where you live, your community, for someone who's got a club or teaches something that's related to that he could enjoy. Speak to them without him present and say, hi, my son's a bit shy, he's got these issues, can I introduce him to you and maybe think about enrolling him or signing you up as an instructor? Because then he's got a third party, someone that he can speak to that doesn't feel like it's part of his home environment, that he can go along to and go, hi, how you doing? And he can just be brought out of himself a little bit and start to appreciate the benefits of exercise without mum and dad or family members around him, because he doesn't feel like there's pressure around that whole topic. Okay, so I hope that's helpful. Please pursue it, because if he's already aware of the situation, then work with him. It may be a slow process because he may feel a little bit down on himself. He may feel a little bit shy, but I wish you the best of luck with that. I hope that's been helpful. Okay, so find that outside influence. Try and do more things together as a family that will just get him more active. I would suggest that with all this, you don't also bombard him with the concept of a diet at the same time, because we're talking just drastic changes. He'll feel a lot of pressure and he will just feel put upon. Don't do that. If anything, when it comes to food and nutrition, if that's a significant issue as well, just start implementing healthier family meal times. And that's it. Don't worry about calorie counting. Don't worry about we're eating like this now as a family because of you, because again, you'll feel pressure upon that topic. Just maybe change what food's available in the home environment, where maybe you go for snacks now and again, or if you're out as a family. Just start to make positive, broad changes so he doesn't feel like he's the topic that everyone looks at when they think about exercise, fitness, everything else, because like I said, it may ruffle his feathers a little bit and may make him feel a little bit down on himself. So best of luck with that. I hope that might help. I'm waffling on, sorry. Which app, watch, device, etc. is best for me to use for my fitness goals? Okay, so there is so much available out there. It can depend purely on what it is that you're looking to get from that app, or the watch you get, or the device, what information you're looking to take from that, your budget, and what do you know about the information you're going to get and what you're going to do with it. So what I mean by that is you could go and spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds or dollars on a device to wear that links to your phone and gives you loads of information, the kind of telemetry you get from a racing car that gives you every final bit of information. Do you know what to do with it? All right, unless you're looking to buy the flashiest gadget to show off to your friends, and yep, I've seen that a lot in a gym environment. Think about the basics, okay? If you have no idea what to do with any information you collect, then I would suggest you would look at the basics of what to find out about it, like your resting heart rate, like your heart rate over a period of exercise, like your sleep, all that kind of stuff. But also, do you even need the app? Do you need the watch, okay? Some people work with a very, very regimented form of information. That's how their brain works. They'd like to get that kind of routine going. For most people, anything that's a lot of stress and a lot of effort puts them off. Right? I would say first off, before you buy, hundreds of dollars worth of trainers and then the watch, and then you sign up for the apps and you get all that kind of stuff, think about the broader, bigger picture for your fitness experience. If you're new to a sport, new to exercise, get used to that first. There is no point signing up to a service that's going to give you the world's greatest programming and email it to you every week, and you've got an app that will work with your phone and give you all this crazy information if you don't have a clue what to do with it. Start getting used to regular exercise. Then think about, okay, I've just started running. I want to get really good at regular aerobic exercise because I'm thinking about doing a 10K in however many months. That's the time to think about looking at your heart rate, looking at your fluctuations of your heart rate and all that kind of stuff over a period of time, so you can program better for your journey, looking at all your zones, all that kind of stuff, and look at specifics. But first things first, figure out where that information is going to come from and why you even want it, because if you're a little bit just bombarded with stuff, it's just going to be one more stress that you don't need, and don't worry about it. Okay, so get used to fitness and exercise first, then find the relevant goal that you need information for and work from that point forward. Don't just spend money for the sake of it, because there's too many gadgets and apps out there anyway. So think sensible before you do anything else. How much should I be training and how frequently? Okay, this comes down to the specifics for you. There's a guy sent me this, someone I used to train some years ago. Right. When you're starting off a fitness journey experience, wherever it might be, you're getting into regular exercise. As I said to a previous question, you've got to get used to the exercise, the stresses involved with that, and also the recovery. Okay, so my recommendation for anybody getting into exercise from a period of not being involved with it or looking to up the tempo of what they're doing, 3 times a week. You do not need to be going every day. You don't need to be going 6 days a week. I recommend a minimum of 3 times a week, okay? Because in a 7-day week, that means you've got 4 days off and 3 days on. You've got more recovery time than you have got time working out, time training, whatever it might be that you're doing. It also gives you the flexibility. Oh, I was doing Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I can't do Wednesday this week. Okay, but I've got days to play around with, okay? So you can still keep up the same volume of training and the same volume of recovery. And you get used to those degree of stresses 3 times a week. Do I see the progress that I want? Great, fantastic. Do I need to add in more? Do I need to have slightly lengthier sessions, but keep this frequency the same? There's a lot of factors there, but the bare minimum, I would say, 3 times a week. It doesn't have to be an hour. Again, it's relevant to what you're doing. If you can only fit in half an hour, 45 minutes, 3 times a week, then that is enough. Get consistent at doing that. See how adaptation takes place. See whether you get towards your goals in a manner that you want, and then reassess from there. Don't make it complicated. 3 times a week, bare minimum. 3, 3, 3. Okay, go with that. We're going to finish on this one. I aim to be about 20 minutes, so we've just gone past that. Okay, I have been training for a while now. I am very, very obese. I've managed to get up the courage to join a gym, and I don't know whether this is a guy or a girl. It may just make a little bit of difference to how I phrase this. And I've been noticing I seem to have a pretty constant, subtle BO that I can't get rid of. I don't know whether it's my body or my training clothes, but it's starting to be a little bit of an issue for me. It's making me feel self-conscious. And I'm wondering if I need to make some changes in something, but I don't know what it might be. And I don't want to feel like I can't go to the gym anymore. Okay, right. Easy thing to fix here, okay? And it comes down to a little bit of a change to your personal hygiene routine, okay? It's not a big stress. It's an easy, easy fix, okay? If you are regularly exercising and you're an overweight person and you've got a degree of folds to your body and there's skin that overlaps, it's a breeding ground for anaerobic bacteria, okay? It's warm, it's damp, and probably, and it's common that people don't necessarily dry themselves off properly after a shower. You've been sweaty, you've been, doing your thing in the gym environment, whatever it is that you've been doing, you've dove in the shower, you come out, you've mostly dried yourself off, you put your clothes on, and you carried on with what the rest of the day brings. What you need to do to resolve this situation, okay, is firstly, make sure you've got a decent antibacterial shower gel or whatever it is that you use. Get out of the shower, be incredibly thorough in drying your body, okay? Not 80%, not 90%, I don't really get into those areas very easily. I'll just pass on that and get dressed. Be really, really thorough, dry your whole body, maybe get some antiperspirant deodorant on the go on your arms and kind of areas like that. Maybe even if you've really struggled to dry your body, get a little bit of talcum powder involved because that can help out genuinely. That has been a solution to clients of mine in the past. Dry yourself thoroughly. If you find that your current training clothes carry that smell by themselves, throw them away. You are not going to clean them enough to get rid of it. It normally happens after they've been really well worn. I do the same with my gym gear all the time. I tend to sort of recycle as it is. You go through a period of hard training. They never really come out of the washing machine smelling great after a while, so you throw them away and you replace them. Or you start to get the dry fit material. It doesn't tend to hold the smell like cotton does. All right, I hope that's helpful. Okay, everybody, those are the questions and answers for my first Q&A session. I hope to do more in the future. As I said, I've been Richard Palfrey. This is my channel, Fitness Without Filter. You can find me on Spotify with a podcast of the same name. I will put out more regular content in the future. So I wish everybody out there the best in their health and fitness journey, and I will see you in the future.